Okay, Chaver, let's continue Hilchos Bishul with the Heilige Shemiras Shabbos Kilchasai. We are up to Sif Hey in Parak Aleph, page Gimel. Iser Bishul b'davar alach ufilik she'ina michamu elachim shel yatziledes bay. The Iser Bishul is even if you do not heat it up only to the heat of yatziledes bay. So if you heat something to the heat of yatziledes bay, you are over in the Iser of Bishul. Va'ilu b'davar yavish. That's by a liquid. Now, today we're going to be going back and forth, liquid solid, liquid solid. All examples will be forthcoming. But once it gets the Yatziledes bug, you're over on Bishul. He's giving a klal. Whereas when it comes to Davar Yavish, it's a Bishul by Davar Yavish, a salad has nothing to do with how hot it gets, it has to do with how cooked it gets. So when it comes to a liquid, I put up my soup on the oven, it has to get to Yatziledes bug. When it comes to my Kugel, Davar Yavish, then it has to be Mechel Ben Jersai, which is what? Says the Shemiras Shabbos, Hanu K'dei Shlish Bishul HaMechel, a third Bishul. Obviously a very famous machlekes, whether Mechel Ben Jersai is a Shlish Bishulai or Chatzi Bishulai, a third or half. He's being machmir and saying that once it's a third cooked, it's called Bishul. That we're going to get to in a moment. V'amnam, however, Gamim Moisif Levashal Amr. So this is the most important. Once it's a third cooked, once it's Yatziledes bay, there still is an Isser Bishul Shaykh. Now this is something that in Sugya might be hard to wrap your brain around. Kaim Oid Isser Bishul, Ad Shetavshin Zvasha Kol Tzarkai. Kfi Shivur Lalon, between Meichel Ben Jersai, between Yatziledes bay and Mavusha Kol Tzarkai, there is an Isser Bishul De Raisa. If you look at Haaretz Vav over here, he quotes that Ayin lechazayin ish the chol shenas yatziledes v'yesh mishum mevashel to become makom isura ika ve'esher the aser min ha'toyra ke'in chatzi shir. I just wanted to bring down this line of the Chazon Ish to bring out the kasha that everyone asks: how in the world is there continuous Isser Bishuls? If the threshold of Bishul is Yatziledes, but then it's over. It has to do with Chatzi Shir, Aser Teira, v'chulu, v'chulu. Now, as was mentioned, there's another machlekes, which he does not mention over here, which is, how do you get to Mechel Ben Jersai? Is it a shlish? I think he's going to get to it eventually. Is it a shlish in the Bishul or a shlish in the Zman? Now, the brain goes normally in the shlish of the Bishul. Why? Because the whole Varna Mechel Ben Jersai is that it's edible. Mechel Ben Jersai is the edibility of a robber named Jersai, that he would eat food raw. Why? Because he's on the move. You got to go, make his next move. So therefore, it would make sense a third of the item being cooked, and that's the point, that it's edible. Lamaisa, there is a Chazon Ish that holds a third in Zman. Now, a third in Zman is wild, because a third in Zman, the food is partially completely raw. And in Mitzias, it's mamish hard to even fathom such a thing. Well, but yeah, we'll eventually get to L'chaira. It could be Eitzir. And we continue with Sivav. Kol Davar. Kol Davar she'ein mavusha kol tzarkai. It's not fully cooked. Bein lach, bein yavish. Va'afilu cham. This is one of the bigger misconceptions in life. It's boiling hot, but it's not fully cooked. There's an Isser Bishul on the table. And therefore, yesh b'achnasasei b'kli rishayin. If you put it into kli rishayin, even gam kshe'ein lo yoyim al gam yesh. It's out on a flame. It's off the flame. Still, there is an Isser Bishul. Rishon Isser Bishul. Vavla also lar is a love mikli rishayin. You can't even pour from a kli rishayin onto it. Vakar mufrat and elsif nuntas chal Isser zekam b'chanasal kli sheni potentially we shall get to. But the rule is, until something which is fully cooked is a serious problem, nothing should be done with it. In Ha'ara Yurches, he points out something very important. In Ha'ara Yurches, he says as follows: Davar shenechel chai, k'maishu, something that's eaten raw. Chutz mi mashkin, sorry for liquids, of course. Yeshua Yisrael Bishul Daraisa Loi Machlekes Rishonim. Ayin the Rambam, Umiiri, Bisham, etc. Ayin Sefer Truma, Zalashainai, Honey Tapuchim, apples. Says the Sefer Truma. Shinir Chester Ramash Hartzion, Igleital, Arais, and he doesn't weigh in yet. We're going to get to eventually. Al Kapan Kuliyam Issa Darabanan Yesh. Good. That's what we wanted to see. So an apple, there's no Isser Bishul Daraisa because it's fully edible, according to those shitas. Obviously, it's a machlekes. But there's an Isser Darabanan. What's going to be the big nafkamina? The big nafkamina, which we're going to get to, is every shayla we have to boil down. Bad pun. We have to boil down. Is there an Isser Bishul real or not? If there's no real Isser Bishul, I was about to get to in a moment, Lamashal, Adavar Yavish, which is fully cooked, then if done the right way, you could get that item as hot as you want because there's never going to be an Isser Bishul. There are Darabbanans that are guarding you what you're allowed to. So similarly, when it comes to raw fruit, etc., there's certainly an Isser Darabbanan, but maybe not an Isser Reisa. Yes? We're going to get Sif Zayin. Davar Lach. Shehu Mevushal Kol Tzarkar. A liquid, which is fully cooked. As long as it does not get fully cold, important words. Ein by Mr. Bishul. There's no bishul. This is what we call ein bishul achar bishul. Aval, don't be that fool. Afal piki noslanichal gabi eish. Afilu mechusa. You're not allowed to put it back onto a fire, even if it's covered. Or to pour it onto a top of fire. This is called the Isser of Chazara, as he says in Sif Kater Chaf Gimel very eloquently, which we're going to get back to. We're going to get to. It's going to help you that if you fulfill the Tanai Chazara, if it came off the flame with das in being your hand and it's not cold and the flame is covered, then you could put it back. But the point is the fact that it's fully cooked, even though it's not fully cold, there's no Isser Bishul. That's the point. And therefore, you're not in the world of Bishul. Again, every shell you have to ask yourself, am I playing with Bishul Daraisa? Am I playing with Bishul Daraban? Zoksiv Zayin. If it's fully cooked liquid and not fully cold, there's no longer Isser Bishul Daraisa. Avad, there's still Darabanas. No. Fully cold means fully cold. Any amount of warmth is not fully cold, which will be relevant when we get back to Tanoi Chazara, as long as it's not fully cold. Sif Chas. Now, how cold is not fully cold? That's a good question. What does warmth mean? Which we'll get to. Sif Chas. Davar lachem v'shekol tzarka v'utzani legam. Oh, here it goes. A liquid, fully cooked, cold. This is called your soup in your fridge. You somehow figure out a way to legally get this thing a little bit warm, which he doesn't tell us how you legally did that. Let's see you put it near your radiator. That's maybe a good example. Shayach by Isser Bishul. Still, it's an Isser Bishul. Meaning, don't think you can pull shtick and you get it a little bit warm and then you can do something else. It doesn't work. Chen kishiara Allah mikli rishain. I feel like because you know even like abish. Avol bachnosas davar lach ze biklisheni. Oila arzolah miklisheni ein ze mishum iser bishon. That's a loaded line, which we're going to have to come back to. He just said a fully cooked cold liquid. Let's call it tea sense. A fully cooked cold liquid. Before Shabbos, I took a cup of boiling hot water. I put tea inside of it. Now, I took out the tea bags before Shabbos. I don't want to get confusing. I have colorful, potent liquid. If I take that, hachnosas davar lach zeh. What is davar lach zeh? Fully cooked, cold liquid. Big kli sheni into a kli sheni. Oile arot alav mikli sheni. There is no iser bishul. That is mutter. Now, I give an asterisk that, of course, there are other issues that could be. And it could be called tzeveya. You're dyeing, you're coloring water. That is. With soup, it could help also. Soup could help also. Is that if you have freezing cold soup and you want to add more soup to it to get it hot, what he just said, it could be able to even be more liberal. But he just said la'arois alav mi klisheni. So let's say we'll consider your ladle a klisheni. That'll be fine. That'll be another example. You have a cold coffee and you want to warm up your cold coffee. What he just said is la'arois alav mi klisheni. He was not making with the kli rishon. He was making to pour from a klisheni. Yes.
Also, if you would take, let's say a huge pot of soup.
Yes.
Then you could add in a full quart into the pot.
Correct. Correct. Once it's in a kli sheni, he just said you could put in cold, fully cooked liquids. He didn't say you could put in anything else yet. But yeah, in the world of liquids, these easiest examples are also ice cubes. Ice cubes would be a good example. That's a pretty silly example. Let's leave out that example. That was a silly example. Okay, Sif Tess. Yesh Efoy Hevdel. Yesh Efo Hevdel. I'm skipping this. I'm skipping this for grammar. We're everyone here will just get completely confused. Tin rotuach and roteach. Need another cup. I need another cup of coffee before we get to Siftas. Yeah, one is past and one is present. Hatzlacha ubracha. I'm going to Sifyud right now. Okay. I'm going to Sifyud right now. I personally got a minor headache reading it. I needed another cup of coffee before I understood it fully. So I am going to be with everyone else and go to Sifyud. I will try again maybe later or tomorrow. And if it's something that we need to know from there, we'll come back. But I'm not going to try to do it in public because I know exactly where we'll end up. We will all sound like bumbling fools together. Good. Sifyud. Sometimes it's important to know that. Okay. A dry liquid that is fully cooked. No, that was totally ridiculous. You can't have a dry liquid. A dry food. It's fully cooked. It's fully cold. Kugel from the fridge. There is no more Isher Bishul. You can't put it right on top of the flame, even if it's covered. Of course, this is called Tanoi Chazara, which in Mirz Hashem we will get back to. Because you're putting something onto a flame on Shabbos. You're taking something out of the fridge and you're putting it on top of your blech. That is aser. Another big misconception. I did not say plata. Yes, there are those that are makel to put something from your fridge dry on a plata, but not on a blech. A blech is a heat source with an eish. Any heat source with eish. Now, what's every single plata we have to get to? But again, he just said, kugel from fridge cannot put on top of blech. Correct. He did not talk about overturned potties. He said straight on a blech is illegal. Straight on a blech. You want to start getting fancy and an area on the blech that's not underneath. Maybe. Right now, the Shemiras Shabbos, part of his gadlus is he's an ultimate Rebbe. So he's building. He's starting with foundation. If you know nothing, then it works. We know too much. That's why we're getting confused. But let's try to wipe ourselves clean and go slow. So he just said, fridge, blech, us. That's what Sif Yud was. It's an Isser Chazar. It's a Derabban. It's not a Deraisa. He didn't say why, if you notice. He said, Afal Pikin ein lahanich. I don't place it there. He chose his words very wisely. He shows you where it is. Yish achmir al ish, yish misham. What's that word? Bishul achar bishul. Beis alf beis is bishul achar bishul. Stamin is sifkat and lamed. Sifkat. Again. He's not. We'll get to it. He's saying it's usher. He's calling it bishul achar bishul because in the world of derabbanans in Chazara and Nesina L'Chatchila, that's what he's coining it. It's a word again. But Lamaisa, fridge, salads, which this is the biggest misconception. Schnitzel, you cannot put on top of your blach. Now, I did not say you can't put on top of your plata. And by the way, American platas and Israeli platas are not the same thing. When they say plata, so you guys got to be careful. When someone says, "Oh yeah, the rabbi said I could put schnitzel on top of a plata," well, he was talking about a plata without a dial. Says Ramesha, again, now I just went off the page for a moment. We finished for today. Says Ramesha, a plata without a dial is not a normal, we'll say the way the Talmidim say over Ramesha. It's not the normal methodology of cooking, and therefore you can put something straight on it. Ramesha did not talk about a plata with a dial. That is the normal way of cooking. And then you have other issues. That you have gezeres and things like that. So that is Sif Yud. The only thing not in Sif Yud would be a dial-less plata, according to some shitais. So Sif Ches, we had T-sense. Sif Yud, we have cold kugel. We'll pick it up from here. B'siyata d'shmaya.